Oh, Chuck's PVA goes back to after World War II. I think it was 1949 when they formed. So it was by Congress, or it was formed by some folks with spinal cord injury, and that really got Congress involved with that. A lot of veterans coming back from World War II that had spinal cord injury, no place to go, no place to rally on. So the PVA became a focus point for them. Justin Dart said there would be no ADA without PVA, and I think the PVA had a strong hand in twisting the president's arm into making getting it signed. I think there's some things there that went behind the doors that we'll never know about, that people in Washington that had some pull in the Paralyzed Veterans of America seen a way to get this thing to happen. So through the PVA I was active, through IU University while going to school I was active, but nothing as dramatic as to when I became involved with the State Council on Independent Living and became a center director. And then everything became together, focused more on what we were doing. And of course ADA became our guideline then, or our Bible to do some things and to make things more happen. One of the things we did, and a lot of people don't realize, we were very active in making sure the subway system in Washington, D.C. became accessible. And that when they first planned that back in the early 80s and implemented in the 90s, they were thinking about not making it accessible, just making a system that wasn't accessible. And they had no guidelines and no rules like ADA put in place to follow. And the PVA was very instrumental in making sure that piece of transportation was accessible, and now it's very accessible. Everybody rides the trans system in Washington, D.C. It's very accessible, easy to get around, and makes it quite accessible for people with disabilities. Oh, the DAV, I'm a life member of the DAV, and belong to the oldest chapter in the state of Indiana, Chapter 2. I was quite active in that at one time, but DAV's they do their thing, and the PVA does some other things. The DAV looks at maybe all disabilities, where the PVA looks at spinal cord injury or disease to the spinal cord, which directs their attention to just one type of disability, primarily folks in wheelchairs, where the DAV maybe look at amputees, maybe look at all types of disabilities, and they have their credibility, and I mean they do some good things. And as a center director, our staff refers, and we get referrals from these organizations, which is good. We follow up with, and they follow up with. The PVA was created for one thing, to do away with spinal cord injury. Their job was to do away with themselves. To be honest with you, and someday we may reach that point that we will do away with spinal cord injury. And there's a lot of research going on with Purdue University and IU University here in Indiana. And that was one of the things that Amy Cook Lurvey got involved in and put into the General Assembly's budget to fund IU and Purdue University for spinal cord research. So to say they're not in the movement, I think there's a lot of, we're seeing a lot of veterans coming back that are macho, have a disability, and don't see themselves as veterans, and don't see themselves being plugged into the Veterans Administration, don't know about the benefits until they go to get employment, or they find their health insurance has been canceled, or they find out this wall's been built in front of them, and it shouldn't have been there to start with. Should have learned that before they got out of service. There's some ways you need to address your disability. You know, and most places, the Army and the military is the same. When you're on your way out, they don't think about what's 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road, or where you're going to go for employment. You know, you've served, just go on home, and we won't worry about you. And that's not the way it should be. I think the military should be looking at the individual 60 to 90 days out, say these are the things that you're going to have to encounter when you get out of here with this disability. And if you're in a hospital at the time, I was in a hospital before I was discharged, and nobody told me about unemployment, nobody told me about what I would face life in a wheelchair. You know, those things you had to learn. And I think there's some hospitals, some veterans hospitals, they're having peer support coming back in and talking to veterans. These are the things you're going to have to pick up. These are things you're going to have to do. And when you get back to rural America, it won't be there. You may have to create it. You may have to tear down these walls, whether it be employment or or access to restaurant, access to your public places. These things you're going to have to be an advocate for. So, I think we need to train veterans before they're discharged, and then bring them together after that. I think we're doing a better job than we did after Vietnam, but we still have a long way to go, because I think a lot of veterans don't know about the system. But we try to connect them with veterans organizations. Every veterans organization has a service officer, whether it be the American Legion, the DAV, the Paralyzed Veterans of America. Every veterans organization has a service officer, and they usually have one local in the local chapter, and they have one here to stay in Annapolis that will service them. Can get a hold of their medical records and research their medical records and find out what they're entitled to. That's the key issue. Getting a hold of their medical records and see they have a disability that occurred during their time in services. Then they can apply for service compensation, not disability, service compensation. And that compensation could be anything from $2,000 a month to $4,000 a month, depending on what their disability is.